And it's that time again. Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of our podcast. It's called Is Breakfast Included? Thanks for stopping by. On the show this week, I had the pleasure of sitting down with Donivan Blair, bass player for the Toadies. We had a great time. Donivan is from the Dallas scene that I came up in. I just met him like a little over a month ago for the first time, and we hit it off. We had a great conversation. I asked him to be on the podcast. We talked about growing up in Sherman, Texas, his band Hagfish with his brother Zach Blair, the Toadies, the Dallas scene, bass, his podcast, Why Bass. We just talked about a lot of stuff, and then we just talked. I had a great time getting to know him, and you will too. Let's check it out. Tell everyone who you are.
I can do that. I'm Donivan Blair. I'm the bass player in the Toadies.
Toadies, and a lot of folks don't know about this. I kind of came up watching you and your brother in Hagfish.
Yes. We were we used to play with the Toadies all the time. Yeah. There was one show at Clearview where it was just the Toadies and us. And whenever we played, the Toadies watched us. And whenever they played, we watched them. And that was the only people in the audience. We're each other. And they were one of our favorite bands. And Clark used to be in Funland. And so that's how Hagfish got its start, opening for Funland and Tripping Daisy and those guys. So Clark helped us get our start, and it's just all very incestuous, Dallas is.
I saw you guys play with the Toadies at the Basement. Now, was that the only time you guys played the Basement? Because that was more of a metal club.
We played there again with, we played there with Tripping Daisy, and we played there with the Nixons. Mm-hmm. And the last time when we played there with the Nixons is actually when we got signed to London Records. So they had come out to see us, and the place was packed, and we opened up. And after that, they're like, "All right, we want to sign you." So we're like, "Okay, cool." Wow. We didn't know. We're like, "All right, just keep going forward." It wasn't like we didn't have any time to just sit around and like, "Oh, neat," like, "Okay, cool. Yeah, let's get this going,"
Where did you grow up originally?
Pardon me. Zach and I are from a town called Sherman, Texas. It's about 45 minutes north. It's in Grayson County. It's the queen of Grayson County, as some people will say, or the queen of the hill country. I don't know what the hell they call it. We just wanted to get the fuck out of there, so we didn't care. But it was a great place to grow up. But once you grew up, you wanted to get the hell out of Dodge, and especially with Dallas looming so close to us, it was only 45 minutes to the south. So it was like, we got to get out of here. We got to go do something, Yeah. But yeah, that town was not big enough for my brother or I, The world's not big enough for my brother or I, so.
True. Well, I grew up in Corsicana, so I get it.
Dude, yeah, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's you just got to get out, and it's not even one of those things. When we go back, it's nice. It's there's just bad memories there, and it's a nice town. I'll be there next week. We're playing a show, and it's going to be fun. Yeah. Toadies are playing, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But I've just got so many mixed memories. It's where we lost my dad there. We've had trauma with high school. Growing up, all the things that shape you into who you are, it's because of Sherman, good and bad.
Yeah, I get it too. I whenever I have to go back, I used to go back to see my mom a lot. My mom passed away about a year ago. My family still lives there, so I go visit my brothers and sisters, but it always looks best in the rearview mirror for me.
Yes, it does, and I'm happy. I'm going to have fun next week, and then I'm going to leave. And I think everybody, it doesn't really matter where your hometown is. I mean, I live in Amarillo now, and I have friends who feel the exact same way about Amarillo as I do about my hometown. Yet
Yeah.
I'm having a great time here. I love it here, but I leave. So, you know,
That's the beauty of what we get to do, right, Donnie? We get to leave.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We don't, yeah, and it's good and bad. It's good, but it's good that we get to go and travel the world doing what we do. It's bad leaving behind our loved ones.
Yeah.
That's the worst part about it. I hate leaving my wife. I love nothing more than hanging out and not doing anything with her. But leaving allows us to have a nice life. So it's kind of, you know what I mean? So
Good and bad. Yeah. You and
yeah,
your brother, man,
exactly, exactly.
you and your brother are pretty tight. Did you guys grow
Yeah,
up
it's my
playing
best friend.
together?
Yeah, yeah. We're only 18 months apart, so we're kind of technically Irish twins. I think my mom had me, went 9 months without being pregnant, then got pregnant. So she extended the Irish twin part, but we are Irish, so we're back. So it still works. But we always shared a bedroom, always. Even when we're together now, we'll still share a hotel room, and it just feels right. We talk to each other every day. Like I just told you, Zach's in Budapest today. He called me, or I'll call him. It doesn't matter where he is, where I am. We talk in the mornings. We have to talk. And we had Hagfish together. We had Armstrong. We had Only Crime. And from Only Crime, Zach got the Rise Against gig from there,
Yeah.
and it was great. But we love that we're doing it, but there is a pain of regret that we don't get to do it together. You know, so it's a shitter for us that we didn't get to do. We wanted to do that with Hagfish, but that got taken out of our hands. That wasn't our decision to not do that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of regret and anger over that, that we don't get to do that together. But we both get to do it, and we still get to play. We'll get to play some Hagfish shows here and there,
Yeah.
and just watch each other from afar do it is fantastic. We're each other's biggest cheerleader.
And for those who don't know, your brother is Zach Blair, guitar player for Rise Against.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and it's weird when I say my little brother. He's 52, but still. And I've told people, and they're like, "Wait, you look just like him." Like, no, bullshit. I'm 18 months, older than that kid. He looks like me. So none of that. None of that. I look like him. Shit.
I
you
think I
know.
told you. I think I told you a few months ago when I saw you in Connecticut that I don't know if I told you this story. I was out on tour. Sometimes, you get homesick, man. And no matter how
Yeah.
long you do this, you get homesick. And I was at the riot. I was with a band playing the Riot Fest in Canada, and and I saw Zach. And for some reason, like Zach and I don't really know each other, but I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that made me feel good. Someone who's walked
Good.
the same
Awesome.
soil as me.
Just seeing a Texan, like, oh my God,
That's
thank you.
great, right?
You know, yeah, like you get it. It's weird. Like, okay, we get it. We're yeah. It's Zach, but Zach's also one of the nicest people ever. He's great to their fans. He's great to everybody, and he's just another person that he's just happy to be doing this. And he also got into a band that became hugely successful, and no one deserves it more than my brother.
Yeah.
He has literally given music and this his everything. He really has. You know. So I could not be prouder of him. Just him and his talent, and just people recognizing that now, and they're like, "Your brother's amazing." Like, yeah, no shit. Welcome to the party, pal. I've
Yeah. You're a little
I've
late.
known it my whole life. Yeah, you're late. I've kind of known it my whole life. So, you know, you
And
know.
have you always played bass? Have you always been the
Yeah.
bassist? You've never
Yeah, I
wanted to be
wanted
a guitar player, never wanted to do this?
no, yuck. I never wanted to play guitar. Ugh, no. It's leave that for Zach. I wanted to be a drummer at first.
Yeah.
And I think my dad kind of saw the future. He was like, well, I could buy this kid a bass, or I could buy him drums, and I can't afford a drum set. I'll buy him a bass. And, and it was like I would just mess around on Zach's guitar, and it was coming to me. I could figure out the bad note versus the correct note on his guitar. And so I got a bass, but I got like a violin bass, actually, like an Echo made out of Italy.
Yeah.
And it looks like a violin. It's not like the Hofner, like the McCartney version, you know? It looks like a damn violin. And my dad had it strung for a lefty because I'm left-handed. And I was like, Dad, I can't do that. I can't even mind this. I feel like I'm really trying to, I can't even mime that. I don't know how the hell McCartney does it. So I was like, Dad, I do it like this. He goes, shit, I wish you would have told me, Dad. Like you didn't ask. But he had played, like, I didn't want to be just to stand, I didn't want to just sit there and play bass like Bill Wyman, or those guys. I mean, the fuck did I know? I was an idiot. Now I would love to just to be able to play like Bill Wyman. But at the time I thought that was boring. And my dad was like, all right, I hear you, but check this out. And he played long distance runaround, a yes. And I was like, wait, that's a bass? He goes, yeah. I went, can I do that? He goes, well, you're going to have to practice a lot, to do that. And like, okay, I want to play bass then. I want to do that. So it was Chris Squire was pretty much, the engine in that rocket, and then Getty, and it just kind of went on from there.
Chris Squire will either make you want to play bass or not want to play bass. If that's your intro to
And he made me want to play. And I met him years ago in Hawaii. Um, my wife and I had landed in Maui. We were exhausted. We went to this grocery store that's in Lahaina, and I saw him. He was coming at me. I'm like, that's Chris Squire. I know it, and my blood froze. Like, that's fucking Chris Squire. That's Chris Squire. And I told my wife, honey, she goes, what? And I said, that's Chris Squire. I don't give a shit. We got to get groceries. She was tired and he's like, I'm going to go get groceries. You can follow him. Like, done. And I went up and met him and I introduced myself and I was shaking. I'd never been that nervous before in my life. I call Zach immediately. He's shitting. We're talking the next day and Chris Squire starts walking in front of my lanai. And Zach's saying something. I go, wait, shh, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Chris Squire's walking in front of me right now. And he goes, wait, what? Are you kidding me? He's whispering. I said, why the fuck are you whispering? You're in Texas. Oh, yeah. Is he still there? And none of us were talking. We're like, yeah, he's still walking. It's like just silence. How about now? Like, yeah, are you looking at him right now? Like, I'm looking at him right now.
Yeah. Okay, he's gone. What's going on?
It literally, it was like, holy shit. It's Chris Squire. Those are the legends. I mean, if you meet someone from Yes or The Who or Zeppelin, it's kind of like, or Pink Floyd, to my brother and I, that's anyone that's not them, that's cool. Well, nah. I think if we met AC/DC or ZZ Top, we'd shit our pants too, you
Yeah.
know. But
And
that's just
speaking of ZZ Top, you are in the Toadies, and that's one of Vaden's, you know, guys, Billy Gibbons.
yeah. It's it's our band is equal parts AC/DC and ZZ Top with a good amount of Talking Heads and Pixies thrown in.
Yeah.
And then that's the Toadies. There you go. There it
Best way I've
is.
ever heard it described.
Well, there's so much nuanced that we take from AC/DC, so much of it, but it's more of like a right hand thing. There's Vaden. other than I guarantee you, if they lost Stevie Young playing rhythm guitar, they could grab Vaden and he would have it, because Malcolm Young's his favorite guitar player. Yes, he loves Angus and he plays SGs, but it's Malcolm. Malcolm is the reason, and there's so much of Malcolm's right hand that Vaden does that now Clark and I do, and it's just kind of it's a band, but it also has this loose ZZ Top thing behind it and swing, and that comes from Rez, So it's just kind of it's great because we're not one of those bands that play to a click a lot in the studio. We like to play the click to a studio, but we didn't grow up recently. We grew up listening to music from the 60s and the 70s. You really had to play. There was no Pro Tools, if you couldn't play, you know, there's the door. And that's what we all grew up with. So that's what it's that kind of a band. You have to know how to play to be in that band. You have to know how to swing. You got to know, all of your, it's I only just played at one speed playing punk rock, I had no idea about bringing it down and up and all this kind of shit. That was all new. Like, oh, I get it. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, how long did it take you to adjust to that, because you guys were a punk rock band. First of all,
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you this question. How long did it take you to get adjusted to playing live without being spit on?
Oh, that was very, I enjoyed that. God. I don't know where the hell. I think that came from Zach and George spitting at each other because
Uh,
Zach spits all the time. Zach will talk to me this morning and he'll say something, I have to spit. It's just something he's been doing his entire life. So he started doing it at George. George would fuck with him and Zach would just spit at him and George would spit at him. Then the crowd got into it. And I mean, it got to the point where we would get on stage and it would look like, fucking Braveheart with all the arrows,
yeah.
except it was globs of spit. Like,
I remember
and in my
after your
head,
shows, you guys would just be covered. Your suits would be covered in spit.
dude, it was horrible. And I was like, we just got these fucking washed. Oh, and here it is. I mean, and people are like, you guys started it. Like, us guys, bullshit. I'm playing my bass. It's these two ding dongs started it. But it was getting used to playing with a pick was the biggest part because I wasn't a pick player. And when I auditioned for the band, I got the notice that, heck, hey, we want you to come and try out. And they said it's a pick gig, all downstrokes. They're like, is that cool? I'm like, of course it's cool. It wasn't cool. I was shitting my pants, man. Like, but fake it till you make it. So I called Zach. They were making Appeal to Reason, actually. They were up in Fort Collins. And I called him and I said, dude, I got an audition for the Toad. He goes, what? You can do it with your fingers? Dude. And he was like, he wouldn't let me talk because it's my brother. He just steamrolls me. Dude, you're gonna get it. Oh my God, this is great. You can do it with your fingers. Oh, Zach goes, yeah, oh my God, this is gonna be great with Zach. It's a pick gig. Oh shit, really? So I would come home from work every day and practice for 2.5 hours with a pick, and not just Toadies songs. I would play Queens of the Stone Age or Ramones, anything that was downstroke. I wanted to know how to play with a pick, not just Toadies songs with a pick. I had to learn how to play with a pick and completely change the way I played.
The nuance,
And
how the strings
it,
sound, the attack.
yeah. And it's a different way of thinking. I write differently. If I'm sitting down and I'm going to write music, I write completely different with my fingers than I do with the pick. And it's just my brain works differently that way. Um, and it took a bit to get used to that. So I would come home from tours, take a day off, and then just start right back at the set, just trying to get better and better and better and learn the nuances of the band. Cause I was used to being on top of the beat because I had Barsati as my drummer, you know.
Uh-huh.
Other than Rez, Tony Barsati's the best drummer I've ever played with. He's the guy has a machine when he's playing drums. you know? But it's, he's incredible. He's an incredible drummer to play with. So playing with Tony made me such a better bass player than I was before Tony. There was before Tony and then after Tony in my playing. And Tony made me so much more, it's just better and consistent, But I was used to on top of the beat right there because I'm with Barsati. So we
Yeah.
were locked in. So getting used to Vaden and Rez and Clark, and like they knew how to swing and be behind. So that took a little bit of time. That took probably about a few years, I think, before I was really comfortable. And I'm still there's still some things, small nuanced things, what is it, like 18 years later now? I'm still figuring out like, oh shit, I'm coming in early on that. Just small shit for me, you
Yeah.
know. But
But
that's the fun part.
in a way, I bet that's kind of exciting because you're like, oh, I'm not comfortable. It's easy to get
Yeah.
comfortable in a gig, but you're still learning it, you know.
Yeah. 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 I'm comfortable enough to be confident
Yeah,
in the gig and go up and do it. But there are still small little things that I like to lock in. I mean, when you have a drummer like Mark Resnicek
yeah,
to play with, you want to make it as perfect as possible. And if there's even small little thing on my part where I'm not with him, I feel bad. And it's just small stuff that Vaden and Clark don't even hear. It's just Rez and I. Sometimes they're like, I missed that one. It'll be like just a fraction of a beat. He's like, it's cool. I heard it. But
yeah. But you
no one hears
doing
that
it.
shit, but we hear, yeah, yeah.
Well,
It's just it's such a treat, man.
I saw you guys recently, like I said, in Connecticut, and it was the first time I'd seen the band play. It's sad to say in years because
Okay.
I, I
You're
was
busy.
yeah. But, uh, when I found out you guys were going to be there, I contacted Tammy, and the band just sounds just so tight, so good.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I didn't know what to expect, but it was great. It was really good. You guys put out, you played all the hits, but you played a lot off your new album, The Charm.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, that has been the treat with this tour because we would do tours for new records and kind of like, all right, we're gonna play some new songs and kind of get, oh God, from the crowd,
Yeah,
like just play Tyler, bro, and they didn't care. And so now, Vaden will ask, like, hey, we're gonna play some more new songs, and we get people stoked, or we'll go into a song from the new record and we get yells. People are stoked.
yeah,
Vaden will ask the crowd, um, how many people is this your first time to see the Toadies? And it's like over half the crowd is raising their hand.
yeah,
They've never seen us, and it's kids. And it's just kind of, we don't know what to make of it.
yeah.
We're pretty happy. We're very, very, very excited.
It made me happy and sad because the majority of that crowd was a lot of young kids, and then I was the old guy.
Yeah. And it used to just be people our age, which is great too. But
Yeah,
now it's kids who they don't have the attachment to PK or Tyler that the majority of the crowd does. It's they like those songs, but to them, that's just another song compared to, like Long Time or the song The Charmer. They're all just songs to them.
yeah,
So it's all even playing field. And that's what's kind of cool. It's weird and it's a nice thing to encounter that. And just the excitement that people have on the record. And we made the record because we wanted to make the record. We got Steve. We had those songs. We had worked them. Like, all right, we're gonna do this. We're gonna see what happens. We don't care. We believe in it. We believe in these songs. We believe in making a record with Steve. Here it goes. You know.
Steve Albini.
So
You don't know?
and the fact that yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Steve Albini. Yes, the late great Steve Albini. Um, the fact that people are responding to that kind of emotion, that was coming out in the lyrics, and Baden will talk about it, his what a lot of the lyrics are about, but we kind of, I mean, to be a dark record, we laughed our asses off during the entire thing, with Steve. We would get in an Uber or a Lyft every morning and kind of barely waking up and just kind of clown each other. And by the end of the night, when we're going back to our hotel, we're just cracking up and just laughing our asses off. There wasn't one night where we didn't go back laughing our asses off with each other, because and laughing at shit Steve had done that day. Steve was actually a hilarious guy. He was funny as hell, very sarcastic, dry wit, very acerbic, you know, and we figured out he was just our kind of person. He wasn't everybody's kind of cup of tea, I guess, because a lot of people in this industry, and you work with so many people, there aren't a lot of thick skinned people in this industry, not when they get to a certain level of things. And Steve, he got off on rubbing them the wrong way, and he was just very honest with people. And we quickly found out that we were kind of the same mentality,
It was almost like a litmus
it
test.
just shit doesn't we oh yeah, I mean, he would screw with us constantly, he screwed with me all the time, constantly he would fuck with me. But I think a lot of that is just like he's Chicago, so it's also kind of like they're going to bust your chops to see if they can break you, and if you just blow it off and give it back out, I'm like, all right, didn't get him, I'll keep trying, we'll get him the next time. But just watching him work, being able to listen to the playbacks and in our heads, and we would all talk about this in our heads, we're like, holy shit, that sounds like a Steve Albini album, but it's us.
Yeah.
you know that was the coolest thing to hear Rez's drums, and it's Steve Albini's drum sound,
Yeah.
and it was just such a great experience. I think that's what people like the album, because they can hear our joy coming through it and just the earnestness that we have, and we worked really hard on the songs. We made sure that we had it down before we went in, because we wanted to have time to make it like add extra stuff, if we had ideas. And and Steve was fine with us adding overdubs and stuff, we were like, well, I guess we better get this right, because you don't like overdubs. He goes, I didn't say that. It's your record, do whatever the hell you want. Like, oh,
Okay.
okay, well, we're gonna do that then. So we kind of blew through the basic tracks, the bass and drums and guitars and all of that, and had them down. So then we could worry about, well, this song needs this. We need to do this with this song. And we had more than enough time, to do the entire thing. We made the record and mixed it just in a month, which was kind of, for Steve was like, wow, this is nice. He actually had to have a nice life. He was used to putting like a week's work in a day and a month's work into a week. So we would roll in at 10. We were out by 6:30, 7. He was actually like, this is great because I have a life. This is nice. He wasn't used to it.
So one thing that Vaden makes it clear live is that you guys are so proud of the album, but you own the album.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
We,
you know,
well, when we did the last tour, but when we were in Chicago, we met up with Steve, and he was in a session, but he had a little bit of some time to show us around. So we met him, and we'd had a very profitable tour. We were stoked. Um, we had Steve, like, all right, we're ready to go. We're going to work on these songs some more. And then our label, like, yeah, we're shutting down. Like, wait, what's that? Like, say that again. And so we regrouped, and our singer's wife, Vaden, is our accountant. So we were thinking, all right, well, then we would play some shows here and there. And we figured we were going to have to play a lot more. And we didn't know it, but she had been putting money aside from like into an account. And she was like, you kind of have the money, guys. Like, and this is going to cost, so and so. She was like, yeah, but there's this much in the account. We're like, oh, shit. So we don't have to play extra shows. And we went in. We like the record was, we paid for the artwork. The entire thing was, mixed, mastered, sequenced everything with the artwork before we even started shopping it to labels. And that was the deal with them. It was like, we're looking for a partner. You aren't getting a piece of this at all. We'll make sure it's advantageous to you, but this is the exact record. If you don't like any of the sequence or anything about it, tough. We don't want to, we want to hear, we love the record. We want to do this. And some people are like, yeah, but we kind of have like, we're out. Bye. Like, we don't want to hear, but don't care. We're not asking for anyone's opinion. You love it as it is. And if not, we're out. So it just took us a bit to find the right partner. And finally we did with Spaceflight. And they have just been just incredible, man. It's the best thing we've ever done, I think. Just was their passion for it. And they're all touring guys. They used to tour themselves. So Brett, that owns the label, he was the sound man for Jack White and Widespread Panic, a couple of other acts like that. So he's been all over the world, and there's nothing he's going to ask us to do that he wouldn't have done himself. He's not just like a normal radio, label guy that's just like, making decisions or whatever, that has no idea how this shit works on the ground. So these guys understand it, and it's just been the best thing that we could have done. So that's another piece of the puzzle is we have this record that we loved so much. We were excited and yet very scared about finding the right partner. And then the fact that we found them and it's worked out so incredible, it's just been the best. It's like, wow, okay, we're always looking around for the other shoe to drop, and it hasn't, and I don't think it's going to.
Well, coming
But
from
yeah.
the generation you guys did, all that, you're always looking for that other shoe to drop.
Oh God, yeah. We were all always getting dropped. Every band was getting dropped in Dallas. Like, oh hey, we're gonna make a record. Wait, no, we're not. We got dropped the other day. Or you turn in your record and the label doesn't like it. So then you got to start all over. So it's just kind of, we're all gun shy. But now the fact that we own it, and from this point forward, I don't see us doing it any way differently. We're too headstrong. I can't see us listening to another label tell us what they want to do. We'll listen. I mean, of course, if Spaceflight have ideas and all that, we're definitely super cool with listening to what they've got. But we're not in the idea of having somebody be able to tell us, well, you're going to do this. And for they would never do that. They're not that way. Like I said, it's just so much respect on both ends. They're the best partners we could have found.
That's great, man. Well, you guys are currently in the middle of a tour.
Yeah.
You just finished the first leg?
Yeah, 7 weeks of that. We've got a quick weekend next weekend in Sherman, Waco, and another place in the hill country. I'm sorry, I can't remember. Crap. I just get on the bus and go where they tell me.
I know.
Then then in August we have another 2.5 weeks, and then in September we have a month from September to October. But we're also going to play Welcome to Rockville, and we're going to play Aftershock in Sacramento. So that's the first time we're doing those bigger festivals as well.
Yeah.
We're going to play at Pappy and Harriet's out in the desert. And there's a couple of other smaller places like that. They're just cool gigs that we're doing just for fun. So it's going to be a lot. And then we have our normal stuff at the end of the year that we're going to do just in Texas. So, and that's just for this year. I don't even know what's going on next year. We're not even, I'm sure somebody's contemplating that, but they haven't told us yet because they don't want to spook us.
Like you said, just get on the bus.
Yeah, like we just let us get through this year. But I mean, that's the other thing. If people want to see us, we want to go out there and do it. We want to be able to. It's nice that people want to see us. They want to hear these songs, and it's not they just want to hear Rubberneck or Hell Below. They want to hear the Charmer. They want to hear the other things. They want to hear the other records that we're doing.
Cool.
So it's kind of a cool thing.
So what's a day like for you? A day off. Everybody knows what a show
Oh,
is like. What's a day off for you?
I usually get up and I'm a jujitsu nerd. And so I will go and find a place wherever we are to go train for a couple of hours. Is if it's better for my brain,
Yeah,
that's my therapy. And that doesn't take the place of therapy, but it helped. It's very therapeutic for me, you
yeah.
know? Um, and then usually I'll go find a movie theater and have Olive Garden. I swear to God, every movie theater I'm around,
It's
there's
right
an
outside our.
Olive Garden. It's always around, and so I'll get soup, salad, and breadsticks, even if I'm not hungry for it. It's just my OCD, like, got to do it, and it's there.
That's
That's a
solid, though.
that's a day off for me. Or Rez and I will go. Clark and I usually will find a really cool place to have coffee at, or Rez and I will go like bookstore. We'll go looking at books or records. We call it Girls' Day. You know,
It's
yeah, it's fun. I mean, days off are fun. Too many days off are not fun. Like after playing like 4 or 5 shows, great, let's have a day off. But then if it's like 2 or 3 days off, like, oh my God, I'm gonna go nuts. Let's get back to working,
I
you
always
know.
days off cost me money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I mean, I'm not getting a buyout. I'm not getting anything, you
Yeah,
know. There, nobody's providing anything for me. Yeah. So
I gotta find my own breakfast.
I know. Yeah, like shit. There's nothing. I got to go look for this stuff. I got to do that. I got to figure out. Suddenly I have to fill up my day. It's not all pre-planned for me. Like it's kind of fun, but also like "Ah, shit. I don't like this. You know. And which is different when you come home. When you come home, it's great. You don't have anything to do. You know. But when you're out on the road, like it's a completely different mindset. You
Yeah.
know.
I've always said that's the one thing about what we do is, you know, we tour, we're gone 24/7, but when you're home, you're home.
Yeah. And that's the trick is being able to get home and turn it off. And you have to be
100%.
home.
100%.
It took a bit to get that way. And I would come back still saying the inside jokes that I'd made with everyone. And it's like, and my wife didn't know what they were or think they're funny. It's like, yeah, okay, that's hilarious. You're home. So we're going to be home right now. Like, oh, yeah. And, but that's also the thing. It's like, I don't, when I'm home, I'm home. It takes about like within a day. I will also usually I'm exhausted and I will fall asleep on the couch or something
Yeah.
and wake up and like, holy shit, oh wait, I'm home. Oh my God, I'm home. I'm not in my bunk. I don't smell farts or feet or weed.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
I don't wake up with a
Holy
shoe right outside my bunk.
literally, I'm not waking up to people screaming, and going back and forth in the bunk area. This is incredible.
Um, you have you also have a podcast.
I do. Yes.
Why
Called
base?
Why Bass. Yeah. And I just ask the guests why bass. I mean, that's kind of what I want to know. It's not, I mean, a lot like I had Matt Freeman from Rancid, and I I love the fact that Matt is in Rancid and started it with Tim and all that, but that's not the point why I want Matt on. I want to know why anyone would want to play bass. Why? It's we're kind of like, the fucking bottom heap. I mean, we are, and drummers get it. But, I think more people want to be drummers than they do the bass player. They just don't stand, what bass does. Even some guitar players, other, people don't get it. Like, oh, hey, that's a pretty cool part. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, the fuck were you? Not in my band. We all understand this shit, but I've talked to other guitar players. Like, that's a neat bass part. Like,
Yeah.
are you on? Are you
You're the
okay?
only one that can come up with riffs.
That's what I'm saying. And so it's like there's a lot, and some of it is just guitar players who their band needed a bass player, and so they took over bass, and they've made incredible bass players. But some of it are people who just they discovered it, and it was just something that they latched onto, and it makes them. And that Matt Freeman, Matt's not a guitar player. I can't. There's like Eva Gardner I had on. She's with Pink and Mars Volta.
Yeah.
Her dad was Kim Gardner from the Association. He was a bass player
Oh.
and wouldn't let her play bass. He didn't want her to play bass at all. And I think she said her dad's best friend was Glenn Johns, the producer that did the Eagles, Zeppelin, The Who.
Yeah.
Said he talked my dad into letting me play bass. Said he taught me how to play bass. I went, hold on. Are you trying to fucking tell me that the producer of the Eagles, Zeppelin, The Who, that's who taught you? She goes, yep. He's the one that showed me how to play bass, not my dad. Like,
Wow.
how many people can fucking say that, So, yeah, that's who taught her.
Right.
And just hearing those kind of stories is incredible from these people who we all listen to, we all love, and that's what I just love to find out. I love to find out, like, is everybody has a different idea about what bass is to them, or what they are, what they bring to the table in their band, and thereby, the world, and
Yeah.
just different ways, what influenced them. That all goes into it. I just think their stories are incredible. And I'm a bass nerd, so I just like to hear anything, and the most fun, especially people I don't know and I've never met. So it's kind of like coming up on the fly, but it's bass. I can talk to anybody about bass.
That's a great concept. Like, and I love that you're talking to bass players who are bass players, not guitar players who had to play bass, or, bass players
Yeah.
who want to be guitar players. Yeah.
Yeah, and there is that, and there's some bass players who they want to play a lot, and that's fine too. But I'm also talk to a friend of mine named Tanner Leeser, that owns a company called Bomber Basses. Um, I'm going to talk. I've got a couple of other people who rep other for bass companies and stuff like that. I want to talk to there's session musicians, country people, jazz artists, anything that has to do with bass guitar. Like, what got these people into this? Why are they doing it? And I just think that it's just kind of, instead of the same thing of, wow, you really do love to pop and slap. I don't give a shit about that. I really don't. I know my reasons why I started. I want to hear why other people started. Did they just fall into it? Like, you're the bass player. Okay.
That's Billy Sheehan, who we all know who Billy Sheehan is.
Yeah.
I heard him say
Yeah.
the best thing. He's like, in his clinics, he's like, you don't have to play all the notes I play. You don't have to know all the picking techniques. Play the notes that are right for the music you're playing.
Exactly. Or not.
Play with a
And that's
pick.
the thing.
Play with a pick. If you got to play with he goes, this is not necessary. This is what I do.
Exactly. Because he's Billy Sheehan. That's what he hears,
Yeah.
But does that make him better than Duck Dunn?
No.
No. Exactly. Because they're playing also different kinds of music. And they would never play in each other's bands. And if they did, it wouldn't be right. But that's what's the beauty about music. And that's the beauty about bass, I think.
Yeah.
It's the other thing that people don't understand is, I think good bass playing, our absence should be noted. I mean, if we're not playing, you should have the crowd going, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
When we come in, that's, when we lay out, people should understand that. Like, oh, okay, that's what that guy is doing. You know, they're not just following the guitar player or they're behind the drummer or whatever. Like, it's it's a bigger thing than people give it. You know, and I'm sure I look way more into it because I'm a bass nerd. You know,
Well,
and
there's a lot of bass nerds out there. You know, there's a lot.
yeah, there are.
I think that bassists don't get enough love, Donnie.
We do not. Thank you, Bernie. We do not. And you were, you know, for one of the best ones. So, but that's the thing, you know, it's especially with John, you know, like why did he get into it? Or, you know, he's John Taylor, but he is just killing it out there. He's incredible. And he is, you know, that's the thing is like people want to talk to him, but they want to talk about the band. They don't really look into what he's doing bass wise, except bass nerds know it. Like,
Yeah.
oh no, that motherfucker's insane. He's so good. Same as Sting.
Yeah.
You know, Sting, people do not, I don't think a lot of people give Sting the kind of respect that he deserves. They don't really listen to his bass lines. They're not hearing what's going on. Bass players recognize it. Of course we do. We know what a monster he is, but other people are like, oh, it's Sting. He's gonna talk about rainforest or some shit like that, you know, or something. They don't know really what that guy's doing, you know. They don't get it. What a lot of these guys who are so huge and you know, McCartney, a lot of them, they don't understand what they're doing is how good it is and how fundamental it is to what we're all playing, you know, especially McCartney.
Yeah. And there was a period, and this will be blasphemy, and somebody may hear it and get back to other people. But there was a period when John wasn't in Duran, and people could hear it.
Oh God, I'm sure. Yeah,
you know, like his. You know, I wasn't a fan of the band. I am now, but
yeah,
I hear us playing every night, and I think, man, this, you know, he's underrated. I think, like you said, but when people talk to him, they want to talk about the band, rightfully so, because
sure.
they're icons. But I sometimes think he doesn't get the credit he deserves for being the bass player he is.
I don't think he does, and
I
I
know
think he
I didn't
needs
give it
to.
to
And
him before I started working for him. You know,
I I did a long time ago. I didn't. I mean, they were ubiquitous in the '80s, you know, and so, but you know, to Zach and I, we were like, yeah, but I'm still gonna go ahead and listen to Slayer and Metallica, so fuck that, you know. But then a friend of ours turned us on to him and like, no, 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 dude, listen. So we started listening, and I was like, holy shit, because I'd also just gotten into Jaco Pastorius. So I started hearing John's right hand, like, wait a minute, that's Jaco. That's fucking Jaco. And then hearing the other things he was doing and going, oh,
he's a great slap.
okay.
He has a he has a very unorthodox picking hand, and I tell people that watch his picking hand because it's it doesn't even look like it's moving, but he's all over the fretboard. You know.
It's I've seen like the older guys that really know what the fuck they're doing, like Rocco Prestita from Tower of Power did that. He didn't look, it didn't look like he was doing anything. But if you listen to what he's doing, like, how the fuck is he going from there to here? And I know it's not just a scale thing. It's not like he's just doing a pentatonic. Like, that's different shit. You know, and it looks, you can watch him play it and he's barely doing anything.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? And I mean, yeah, that's the guys that know what they're doing. I guarantee you, John's a Rocco fan. Has to be, you know.
I'll ask him tomorrow.
Ask him for me. Let me know what he says. He's gonna go, duh, yeah, you know. But that's you know, the guys like that. I think there's so many people, you have to kind of overdo it. You have to be like a Les Claypool. You have to be a Flea, who are fucking amazing bass players, you know. And but I think those guys would freak out over talking to John or talking to Sting, you know, because they get it as well. They know the importance that those guys have brought to bass playing, you know.
I'll say this, man. When cats find out that I work for John, they really start to fanboy over me for him. And these are
Yeah,
the guys that
yeah.
have made big albums, you know?
I did, dude. I mean, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Holy shit. And I was just like, all right. And in my head, like, pump the fucking brakes, pump the brakes, you know.
But it's cool, man,
But I mean, on the same
because I do the same thing, man. I fanboy, I was when your tour manager said, "Oh yeah, come on back to meet the guys." I was like, "I don't want to bother him. I don't want to bother him." And I don't know if you could tell, like I was
no,
nervous. I had never met Clark or Rez, but Vaden did this show very early on. Like I've been doing this
yeah.
show for 5 years. My partner and I, Lisa Letterman, have been doing this for 5 years. We've been putting out an episode a week, and Vaden was one of the first
Wow.
to meet people that I got nervous, like, holy shit, he's gonna do it. And I didn't know what I was doing when I interviewed him. I asked him a bunch of stupid questions. Uh, but
I
he
guarantee you they weren't.
he did it
Uh-uh.
early on, and I think I even thanked him that night. So I'd met him. But even like
Yeah.
when the Toadies were, you know, when they put out the when their album broke, I had never met
Rubberneck. Yeah.
I
Okay.
I
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Rubberneck
Yeah.
when it broke. I had never met any of them, so I was just a fan of the band, and I still am.
Yeah.
Just like when I talked to Tim DeLauder, I was a fan of Tripp and Daisy. You know,
Yeah. They were, and they're the nicest guys. You
oh
know,
man,
that was that was one of Hagfish's first big tours. Our first tour for Lame Ass was opening for Bad Brains on the God of Love tour.
yeah,
That was a fucking trip. Yeah, there's stories there. But watching them every night and then talking to them like, holy shit, we're talking to Daryl Jennifer. I'm talking to Doc. We couldn't put in our heads, like we're just four dipshits from North Texas. We're talking to the fucking Bad Brains.
yeah,
Then,
crazy, isn't
and I
it?
think dude, it was. And that only lasted about maybe 2 weeks. And then they split off to do Beastie Boys. Then we went back and did like a month and a half with Tripping Daisy. We did Canada, we did America. It was a long fucking tour. It really was. And at work, we were all basically on the same label. We were all Polygram. They were Island, we were London. And so it was and we'd all already known each other forever. And it was just a lot of fun to see the country the first time with our friends that helped us get there in the first place. Opening for those guys helped Hagfish so much. They took a liking to us, kept letting us get, open for them.
Yeah,
And then other bands saw us like Funland, the Reverend Horton Heat, Course of Empire, all the, Toadies. And it was because Tim and those guys put us in front. So then we were able to go and see the country
yeah.
together. And there's some stories there too.
What a great time though, Donnie, to be alive at that time with all those bands.
Yeah,
People never understand when I talk about the scene that I came up in. Like, what a great time.
it really was. And I think the cool thing about it, I look back. I mean, I met my wife at that time. I met her in '93 at Trees. We had our wedding party at Trees. You know, um, and just I don't think what people understand is like, Seattle had a scene, Chicago had a scene. There was the Minneapolis scene, and in it, all the bands, especially like New York and everything, they all tend to sound like each other. That's where they create their scene. And I think the reason that Dallas never got big is none of us sounded like each other. So if you try to come up sounding like Trippin' Daisy, people are going to boo you. Like, why we're going to go see that? We already have Tripping Daisy. We want to see something different. We'll go see the Reverend Horton Heat. you know. Or if bands are starting to sound like Reverend Horton Heat, or even Hagfish, there were a couple of copycat bands, or the Toadies. No one gave a shit. Like, well, we already have that. But do something different,
Yeah.
genius. But there was, I mean, my God, there was Course of Empire, good God, one of the best bands ever, and Tripping Daisy and Jim, there's a Reverend. the Toadies, Hagfish. There's Bob Goblin. There was UFOFU.
Mhm.
There was Funland. I mean, it just keeps going. It was so many bands and everybody, and we would all be on the same. We'd all be out on tour. I mean, Brutal Juice also.
Yeah.
Fucking Brutal Juice, man, amazing, just incredible. And we would all see each other out on tour and commiserate and hang out. And it was good to see your friends that none of us thought we'd ever be doing this shit, you know? And
Yes, I was at the Roadkill Pinata show, Brutal Juice's Roadkill Pinata show.
oh, we saw Ben the other night in San Diego, by the way, their drummer, Ben Burt, and he's the same, just a beautiful human being. And we were talking about some old times. And it was when Hagfish first met Brutal Juice, because they were from Denton, and them and the Baboon guys and all that, they all had their own scene. Well, we had played with Brutal Juice, and I don't think it went well the first time. We were just all kind of like, fuck those guys. What
Yeah.
beat both band. None of us were nice to each other. Then we played a gig together in Lubbock. So we were outside of our comfort zone and banding together, because we're all in a strange town. And from that point on, we all became besties. you know? And we just championed them to so many people, and just great record, man. Just a great band. But,
Amazing live band.
seeing all these bands, oh God, they were incredible, man. I mean, just Ben was an just incredible drummer. Him and Sam made the best rhythm section. And then Craig, and you had Gordon and Ted, and oh God, it was just all of it. It just beat you over the head, senseless.
When we
But
first
it was
started the
so
show,
good.
when we first started this show, I reached out to this was my way of fanboy, and I was like, I reached out to Vade and Ricky Brooks from the Nixons.
I
I reached
love Ricky, one
Kenny
of the best
Withrow,
humans, man.
Kenny Withrow from Billy Goat and New Bohemians. I reached out to him maybe 3.5 years ago, and I just talked to him about 4 months ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, these guys
Well,
were like, these were the cats that I came up just loving, man, and admiring. So
yeah.
I come off like a fanboy when I talk to him. And do you remember that time you did this? And do you remember that time?
Well, I feel the same way because, like I said, Zach and I were from Sherman.
Yeah.
So to us, we were used to like the cover bands in Sherman. Like, okay, no, fuck this, And we weren't cool with that. We didn't want to play covers. So we got down to Dallas, and we were like in playing a lot of the all ages clubs. But it was once we got to Deep Ellum and playing in that scene, we felt comfortable because and obviously my brother's a natural entertainer. People like in the punk rock scene don't like the entertaining thing. They didn't, and so Zach was just kind of handcuffed. Then we got George, and he and George were just, you know, basically feeding off of each other. None of the shit that Hagfish did was planned. It morphed, you know.
Yeah.
So we were our own thing, but just seeing all these other bands coming from Sherman and meeting Jim, meeting the Reverend Horton Heat and becoming friends with him
Yeah.
and Taz, and Jumbo. And then, we heard everybody talking about Course of Empire, like, yeah, Course of Empire, whatever, okay. All right, whatever, tired of hearing about it. Finally, they were putting out Initiation at Trees. It was like a subdued show. They didn't tell anyone. And we went to it because Mikey, their drummer, had just joined. He wasn't on Initiation, but they needed a touring drummer. So Jerome was on. And we went, and I mean, I think it took a week for me to clean the shit out of my underwear because they just, it was just fucking incredible. Watching Graf do his thing and watching Chad and Mike go back with the drums and just all of it. It was mind boggling. Like, but then we heard our first Killing Joke record, like, oh, okay, there it is.
I hear
But
it.
still, if you're gonna sound like someone, sound like Killing Joke. Why not? But they were just an incredible band. And then we'd all go see Reverend Horton Heat. Just, and then that was blowing everybody's minds. And so it was just kind of like high school. My wife and I called it Deep Ellum High, you know. So, but we got to watch these great bands, and in between, we got to go to Main Bar and Trees and watch all these other bands coming into town who were up and coming at the time,
Yeah.
and go on to be hugely successful that we didn't know at the time. You're just watching them.
Yeah.
But just it's kind of a great time, I think. I think we all got in there right before it kind of went to shit.
Yeah. And that's why I said
I
it was a great time to be alive during that scene, because
yeah,
you run into anyone that was running around there, and everyone has the same stories but from a different point of view.
yeah,
That,
yeah,
to me,
yeah.
that's beautiful. I'm very proud of the scene I came up in. I fly that flag everywhere, and I haven't been back in years. Even when I was in Texas, it just wasn't the same to me.
It's not, and I think clubs like Three Links and Trees and Double Wide, they're all really trying hard.
Yeah,
They really are trying hard to fly the flag against so much opposition. You
yeah,
know, and I think they're doing exactly what they can. But there's the Bomb Factory is open, and they're putting good bands in there as well. They're putting good acts in, but as far as the scene goes, I can't say anything because I haven't been there in 26 years, So I don't know what the hell's happening in Dallas at
and
all,
why Amarillo?
you
Why'd you
know.
pick Amarillo?
Well, my wife is from here. So about like 2000, she got an offer. She was always in the record business herself. Like the joke was, I made the music, she sold the music. So she worked for labels our entire marriage, she has. And there was do you remember Hastings?
Yeah,
That company that would
Western Distribution.
so
Western Distribution.
yeah, that's them. So exactly.
I managed
And so
in Corsicana.
she got an offer to be a buyer. You're kidding me. Really?
In Corsicana.
Yeah. That's who she went and worked. Well, she became a rock buyer for Hastings. And so she was working at a place in Dallas. She would get out of the label, out of the music industry, and to do other like regular jobs. And then she'd get an offer and it'd pull her back in. And she was like, okay, this is better for me. And she got this offer to move here to Amarillo. And at first, I just didn't want to do it. Like, oh, I want to stay in Dallas, Ended up being the best thing possible for us, We were able to buy a house, We were able to have a nice life, They've got an airport. I've obviously been all over the world since I've lived here. So it turned out great for us, and just a slower pace of life, especially coming home from tour. I live across the street from a park, so our days will be like walking around the park and then we're done, and it's just a really nice town. It took me a couple of years to get used to it, but once I did, like, oh yeah, we made the best decision for us,
Yeah.
just to be able to have a nice place to just relax, and not have to, be gone. And then we're right back in DFW where there's all the traffic from the Metroplex, all these other things going on. We were able to figure out exactly who we were and make a really good group of friends. And, just kind of people that had no idea about touring or music scenes or any of that shit. They didn't care. None of my friends care. They're happy that I'm in the Toadies, but they don't give a shit.
Donnie to them.
Especially the friends that yeah, oh, I mean, to my friends that I train with, like, oh wow, you're in the Toadies, that's cool. Well, now I'm gonna try and fuck you up with an arm bar. They don't get two shits.
Time to roll.
They're like, slap knuckles, dickhead. Let's go. You ain't on tour today, motherfucker. Let's go. And I love that. I love because it keeps me grounded, it just we have a lot of people around us that are just really, really, really good people, fantastic people. And that we stay grounded, and our days are hanging out and watching Arsenal games. It's kind of it. That's all we do. It's a pretty good life.
Well, brother, thank you so much for your time, man. When I met
Thank
you
you for
at that
having me.
show, I think we hadn't even finished our conversation before I was texting Tammy, "Hey, give Donnie my number. I want to have him on the show."
Dude, I'm glad to be here, man. Thank you for thinking. I mean, and thank you for doing it while you're on tour. I tried to do mine when I was on tour.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm not doing it.
It's
So,
hard.
I mean,
Like I told you at the very beginning of this, like we may not be able to finish this because my internet sucks. My Wi-Fi.
yeah,
sucks.
it leveled out. I think we're good.
Yeah, we powered through it, man.
I think so.
Bulgaria was not going to get the best of this interview.
Yeah, exactly. Right, Bulgaria. I don't even know where you are, like on in the world. And that's the other thing. We've been watching World Cup, all day long, every day. Have you guys been watching it?
Well, yes, they have. Yes, they have. I hear about, but when I'm out with Durant,
Yeah.
all I hear about is football. That's all I hear about. And
Yes. Let me ask you that. Who do they support? Who do they support?
John and Roger support Aston Villa.
All right. Birmingham, birthplace of Sabbath. I'll let it go. You can't argue with that.
Yeah, I think Simon supports. I could get this wrong. Man United
Right.
or Man City. I don't know. There's two of
Okay.
them there. And if I get it wrong, he's probably gonna fire me when he hears it. You know,
It will. It
because
will.
man,
They're
it's
like,
serious.
what?
It's serious
It
here.
is.
And our
Yeah.
tech supports the Tottenham Spurs.
Ugh. Yuck.
But anytime I hear them talking, for the last, well, when I first started, I was very, very like reserved. I didn't want to make anybody mad, but now I don't care. If they're talking about football, I walk up and I go, "Hey, are you guys talking about soccer ball?" My niece
Okay.
plays soccer ball.
Well, you know what? The day that I met you was the day that Arsenal won the English Premier League that day, because City had tied. I can't remember who they played. It was another team, and Arsenal won it. So I was just on cloud fucking nine that day.
Yeah, but I don't know
I
anything
was
about it. I get interested when they start talking about it. I'm like, okay, I'll listen, but I don't follow it. I watch a lot of boxing. I watch a lot of
nice.
mixed martial arts, and I
Yeah,
watch a lot
yeah.
of professional wrestling.
Oh, you know what? All you got, if you get into it, all you got to do is watch Arsenal. Don't
All
worry
right, I
about the
will.
other ones. And they can say what they want, but right now Arsenal's number one, so
I'll let them
don't
know.
care.
Well, brother,
Yeah,
thank you so much.
dude, thank you so much, Bernie, for having me. I
This was a
appreciate it, man.
lot of
Thank
fun.
you.
It was a lot of
It
fun.
was, dude.
And
I appreciate you.
I have one more question. It's called our
Shoot.
podcast is called "Is Breakfast Included?" And what do you like to have for breakfast?
Good question. Well, coffee, and then I follow it with coffee and more coffee.
Coffee.
Usually lightweight, like in the mornings. I get up at 5 so I can go to train. I got like a 6 o'clock class that I go to, and I can't have it. I can't have a lot of heaviness. We actually had a kid that came in one day. He hadn't been training with us long, and he wanted to have a lot of energy, so he ate a big breakfast. And I think I counted it. He threw up 6 times within like 45 minutes.
That'll do it, man.
So I I love breakfast. Breakfast is my favorite. Rez and I will go have breakfast. Rez starts off his day with eggs. He has to have eggs first thing every day, or he has a shit day. So he loves breakfast. I love nothing more than going to like a diner, and not like an upscale, like a kitschy diner, that's like a cafe. Yeah. I don't care like if they have an alternative milk, I don't want that. I want I want it. You know, if they're smoking, I'm stoked. And I don't like smoke. I don't smoke. But if they're smoking at this diner, I'm in. I want just a nice, cup of coffee that will always be refilled for free, and I take a book and I will go in there those places for hours on end. I love a good diner. I love a good break, like Waffle House. Fuck, I'm in. That and IHOP. I'm home. I love it.
Yeah, that's what I miss living where I live. I miss Whataburger and Waffle House.
Wait, where do you live? You live up in Connecticut?
Harding, Connecticut. Yeah.
Oh, brother, do you need me to send you some Whataburger when you get home?
I'm constantly telling my son, he lives in Euless, and I constantly tell him, like, I'm gonna figure out a way for you to ship me overnight on dry ice some Whataburger.
Dude, the struggle is real. Yeah. Oh, you just made me hungry for Whataburger, and I was not hungry for Whataburger.
Where can people find you, and where can they find
Oh,
is your podcast video podcast or just audio, or where can they find you?
it is both. Sorry, somebody's calling me, and I don't know who the hell they are. That's why my screen shifted there. I apologize, Bernie. Um, they can find me at like right now, like my handle on the Instagrams is EIIKM71.
Uh-huh.
After I put out a book called Even If It Kills Me. And uh there you are. Got you, Bernie. Okay. And I also have a white base Instagram. And so people can reach me through that if they would like to. And the Wyatt Base Instagram is just dedicated to the podcasts and the guests and stuff like that. And the other one is dedicated to all of my dumb, you know, I just basically use it to do stupid Arsenal memes and piss people off, or jujitsu or love things with my wife and that kind of stuff.
Tomorrow,
And
out of
then,
the blue, I'm just gonna walk into the gig supporting Arsenal.
oh my God, see what they do. No one can talk shit. They're number one. I'm sorry. They could, people, you know what? We were in New Jersey right after I saw you, and we were checking into our hotel, and my wife went to go say hi to this dog. She's a dog lover. And she had on her Arsenal shirt. And the husband looked at her and was like telling the dog, he goes, "Don't be nice. She's wearing an Arsenal shirt." Like, bro.
Serious.
I mean,
It's serious.
it's serious, man. It is super serious. People, I mean, I think right now in America, we don't take it like they do the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Right now, it's kind of fun and jovial, But I've talked to a couple of people who just aren't stoked, that their team's lost, and like, I don't, we're just having fun, man, But some people take it super hardcore. Like I love it, but it's not life or death. It's just football, But the English, it's life or death
Oh
to
yeah.
them. They do not mess around. So if I'm talking to an Englishman about it, I don't joke around. I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna. I am new to this. I'm only like 5 or 6 years in. You've been in it your whole life. I don't have any skin in this game with you.
My entire life's goal when I'm out here on this gig is to piss them off of my lack of knowledge, but acting like I know what I'm talking about.
Show up wearing an Arsenal shirt and see what happens. I'll send you some. I got plenty. I got one today. So
Well, man, thank you so much. It was great talking to you, Donnie. And
thank you so much, man.
next time we cross paths, we'll have to break some bread.
Definitely. You let me know when you're back in town, and definitely in Texas. And if y'all are around, I'll come see you. Okay.
Will do, brother. Bye.
All right. Good to see you, Bernie. Thank you, man.
Right on. Donivan Blair. I told you, man, you had a great time getting to know him too, didn't you? Man, he's one of the coolest cats I've ever met, and we hit it off. And like I said, we've been keeping in touch since then. I was really honored to have him on the show. And if you want to know what he's up to, check out on Instagram, ybase71. If you want to find out where he will be, check out his band at the Toadies on Instagram. They're out on tour. Go see them, support, buy a shirt, buy their album, The Charmer, buy it. Don't stream it, buy it. Man, what more can I say? Ask him for a pic. He'll love that. While you're online, check out itsbreakfast.com. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Rate and review our show on Apple Podcasts. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe. Leave us a comment, good or bad. I don't care. Buy one of our new trucker hats and check out our Buy Me a Coffee. Hey, buy us a coffee. We deserve it. We need it. Again, I want to thank Donivan for taking the time to talk to me. I'm done. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you next week.